give in return? Everything. You would reject this gift. And did you bring these mongrels here? Just to watch you die? This was not our destiny. Times change. We will never be slaves! But we will be conquerors.
King Varian, the hour grows late. You must sign the declaration of war.
I was just a child when my father rushed to confront this same evil. He didn't understand these warlords at all. That mistake cost him his life, and brought this kingdom to ruin.
You are not your father.
I know. But how can I succeed where he failed?
You can start by trusting my counsel. I have faced them before.
On Draenor, you were there all those years ago.
Yes. Believe me, they are not invincible.
Then tell me of them, Murad. Tell me everything.
Very well. Kargath had no clan. He was raised a slave. The ogre's cruelty was intolerable. So he sought a way out. The arena. 100 orc lives was the price for freedom. Fight. Kill. Salute. Kargath was unstoppable, and the day of his final fight had come. One last kill, and it was over. Lives. Kargath had earned his reward, like every champion before him. Buried beneath the arena, the promise of freedom, nothing but a lie. Kargath would be chained no longer. Take your vengeance. Bound by vengeance, their name would be spoken in fear. This was the birth of the Shattered Hand.
So, I'm guessing that probably got some of you pumped up seeing those. And now it's time to talk before we get into this. Because, as you can probably tell from those couple things I just showed you guys, we are about to now delve into Warlords of Draenor. I have a lot to say about this. First off, I want you guys to know, I actually am one of those who doesn't dislike Warlords. No, seriously, I like Warlords. I do. There are things about Warlords that I really like and enjoy. I've heard many of the complaints and such that people have voiced in regards to Warlords, and a lot of them are with good reason and are understandable. However, I will say one of the main complaints I've heard was endgame, though that's not necessarily an issue anymore, is it? since it's no longer current content. When it was current content, absolutely, but when it's no longer current content, is that really a problem? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it is one way or the other. I'm just saying that you could make a case that it's no longer an issue when it's no longer current content. That's all I'm saying. The thing about Warlords, is, do you guys remember how hyped this expansion was? It was so hyped. Which is funny, considering the true backstory of how this expansion even came to be. So for those of you who don't know, this expansion was never actually supposed to happen. This was never actually part of the planned expansions that the development team intended. Warlords was a creation, a byproduct of the dev team that was working on Legion not having enough time. So, here's the thing. Missa Pandaria was intended to follow straight into Legion. Now, we didn't know it was called Legion at the time, but the intention that the development team had was they were going to have Missa Pandaria. There were things in Pandaria that was clearly leading into there, and then just go straight into Legion. However, they were working on so many things and trying to make Legion so good and doing a number of things that they came to the people and said, we don't have enough time. We are not going to make the deadline. We still have way too much to do and work on to really make this expansion awesome. So the development team decided, okay, we're going to now do something that is kind of going to be a fill-in in between. Do you guys remember the Halion patch from Wrath? The patch that added that raid, the Ruby Sanctum, that was basically an appetizer for players while waiting for the next expansion to come out, Cataclysm, because there was so much to do in Cataclysm, so much work to be done on all the different content that they were doing for Cataclysm, that they needed more time. So they came up with the Halion patch just as a thing for players to do in the meantime. Unfortunately, that's what Warlords basically ended up being. It was a filler for us, the players, while they worked on Legion. So, I will say though, however, they actually always intended to do something more with Garrosh. So people are like, oh man, why didn't we kill Garrosh at the end of Miss? That's partly because the developers still want to do some more with Garrosh. They entertained the idea of him going back to Outland, where we found him in Burning Crusade, and rallying the Mag'har orcs that were there and making the mongrel horde, as they were kind of, teasing the idea of him, Garrosh basically raising all the Mag'har orcs in Outland to become the mongrel horde, and then come back to Azeroth and take it for the true horde, as he always wanted. So the thing was, the development team was actually going to revamp Outland. They were going to give Outland a much-needed revamp and makeover, and really try and update it to make it more current. And considering the technology they were bringing in Warlords of the updated models and all that, it probably would have been awesome. However, because of the complaining and the whining of the players that voiced their displeasure at the changed zones in Cataclysm, the people who whined and complained about the old vanilla zones being changed in Cataclysm, and how much they disliked it because how dare you touch my beloved zones from vanilla and change it for Cataclysm, how dare you do that? That's because of that complaining, the dev team went, okay, we can't do that because the players will complain, and we can't stand players complaining. Oh no, what will we do if players complain? If I sound very sarcastic, it's because of how ridiculous this is, that players, complain so much to the point that Blizzard needs to stop listening to these people, to these players that whine and complain. They need to stop that, because that led to this. Because they still wanted to do this, but they had to come up with something else. So they came up with time-traveling alternate dimension. Now, I am someone who defends Warlords and says that he likes Warlords, and will continue to do so. I still like Warlords. However, this whole time-traveling alternate dimension thing is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen Blizzard do. This is such a stupid idea and premise. Because they made a point at the end of Cataclysm that the Bronze Dragonflight had lost their powers to do the time travel thing, that time travel had now been removed from the setting. Okay, cool. And now at the beginning of Warlords, we just open a portal to an alternate dimension back in the past. What? Just, okay, we can apparently just do that. That is the biggest problem with Warlords, in my opinion. I know I'm not the only one. I know many people who have said that there are things about Warlords they like, but pretty much everyone agrees that the time-traveling alternate dimension thing is the dumbest and stupidest thing about this expansion. Believe it or not, I also don't dislike garrisons, but that's a whole separate thing. I'm not here to talk about the expansion as a whole, but there were some things about this I did want to say before we got underway here. So... and I grieve for Warlords, because I think Warlords of Draenor could have been one of the best expansions that we ever had. There were things about the expansion that you look at and go, man, that could have been amazing. And there were some other things about it that actually were awesome. The good in this expansion is really good. And then there's the rest of it. That is, disappointing, to say the least. But it's partly because, and this is something that goes back to what happened in Burning Crusade, there was no proper support for this expansion behind the scenes from the development team. There were two separate teams that were working on this. There was one team that really wanted this expansion to be amazing. And then there was the other team that simply wanted to use this to build up Legion and just kind of like have this start setting up and teasing Legion. And I will get to that when we get to Hellfire Citadel. But for now, we are instead starting off with Highmaul. Now, from what I've heard from people who actually did this expansion when it was current content and this raid when it was current content, they actually enjoyed the boss fights in this expansion when it was current content. However, there are a couple things about this that I consider to be disappointments. First off, alright, actually I'll just show it to you, because there's going to be some role-playing in this. Now, there's even some more that I'm hoping is not going to be interrupted or cut off when it happens. If it does, I have something in mind for that, because we are going to be doing this, of course, on Mythic, because there's a whole separate boss fight here that's not even listed in the guide that is Mythic only. Now, there's also a cutscene that plays in this raid, and in case you're curious, I've actually turned off both DBM and Bigwigs to prevent the skipping of cutscenes things from happening. But I'm anticipating something still might cause this to happen because of possible Mythic-only whatever stuff. So if that happens, I actually intend on coming in here real quick on another character on normal or heroic to see if that cutscene will trigger. Because it has to do with a very familiar face. So let's head on inside to Highmaul. And of course, remember what you saw in that Lords of War thing I just showed you about Kargath? It wasn't just about Kargath, I want to emphasize. It was an aspect of the culture of the ogres here in Draenor. The arena. The ogres. Taking joy in seeing the ogres slaughtered. The ogres have a culture here in Draenor that's pretty similar to the likes of, well, I guess you could say the Roman Empire, if you want to compare it to real-life civilizations. Yeah, a lot of slavery, a lot of the Colosseum, yes, blood slaughter, are you not entertained? You know, all that stuff. Very much in the ogre culture in Draenor. We are on my hunter here because, well, you're going to be seeing my hunter doing all three of the raids here, and that is something that is a disappointment, is that there's only 3 raids in this. So look who's behind this guy. Hey, it's Cho'gall, who should not look like that, but for some reason is. This is another case of the developers being kind of lazy with the models. Because Cho'gall should not look like that during this time period. Again, time traveling. Okay, so you start off, you come here to the Arena Master. So eager to die? We are ready, Garg. And now we ascend into the arena, and Cho'gall's like, ha ha ha, have fun! So you can even see right there, he's laughing. He's laughing at us. Ha 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 ha. Now we ascend into the arena. The Colosseum. 100 lives.
This is gonna be a mistake. These puny squishies be the scourge of the Grand? They look like Alec Poodoo. They're gonna look like puddles after this fight. Haha! Today's games honor great Sorcerer King. We're gonna see his bloody victory over the orcs at the Battle of Red Spires. Oh, I hope these weaklings die better than they smell. We'll see what these competitors be made of, Doctor. Just as soon as what they be made of gets splattered across the arena. Now, playing our mighty king, scream his name and bash his skull for the shadow of Highmaul, champion of games, Ogron! Time to spill blood and die for Highmaul. The Battle of Red Spires begins!
Yeah.
Glory and death. The Punis defeated Volgar? How tiny men's beat mighty Volgar? Enough! I will show these weaklings what a true champion is capable of. The Sorcerer King? Here? King only leaves palace to witness legendary battles. You honor us, Kargat. I will enjoy watching you fight in the arena again, even with your handicap. The pleasure is mine. The crowd deserves a superior gladiator, seeing as the last one fell so easily. Gladiators! Seize this opportunity to die gloriously, for your names will be carved into history. Let the battle begin!
Okay. Before we fight Kargath, I want to talk about this. So first off, let's read what it says in the guide. Kargath Bladefist, warlord of the Shattered Hand, honed his brutal skills as a slave in the ogre's gladiatorial games. He slaughtered countless opponents for the promise of freedom, but after winning was locked away with the other retired champions. Fueled by rage, Kargath tore off his own hand to escape and led a revolt that soaked Draenor in ogre blood. Now he returns to the arena to teach you the true meaning of savagery. So here's one of my problems. So how often do you guys, have we seen it where the most iconic battle in the raid should be the final boss? And this expansion is no stranger to that. We'll get to that with both Blackrock Foundry and Hellfire. But this immediately right here is a problem that I have with this raid. Kargath is the first boss. Now, I played that Lords of War thing for you because I want to really help show just how awesome Kargath is. Kargath is awesome. And he should be the last boss of this raid, in my opinion. Now, I understand why they did that, especially for Mythic, because they have something special for Mythic only. But, man, the fact that Kargath is the first boss in this raid, I just feel like that's a flaw. Because usually the most iconic boss in the raid should be the final boss. And I want to use examples here to really emphasize this. Let's just go all the way back to vanilla. Ragnaros, Molten Core. Nefarian, Blackwing Lair. Encourage, Cthulhu. Let's go to Burning Crusade. Karazhan, Gruul, and Gruul's Lair. Lady Vosh and Serpentine Cavern. Kael'thas and Tempest Keep. Illidan and the Black Temple. Kil'jaeden and the Sunwell Plateau. Let's go to Wrath. Kel'Thuzad and Nox Ramis. Malygos sort of doesn't count because that's a one boss raid. I don't really count Algalon as the final boss of that raid. I count Yogg-Saron. Anubarak, Child of the Crusader. The Lich King, Ice-Crowned Citadel. Nefarian again in Blackwing Descent. Cho'gall and Bastion of Twilight. Actually, no, I take that back. Because if it's heroic, then it's Sinestro. But you get my point. Ragnaros again in Firelands. Deathwing and Dragon Soul. I hope you get my point. Garrosh and Siege of Orgrimmar. I hope you get my point here. Usually the most, iconic boss you face in the raid is usually the last one. And here, the most iconic boss amongst this lineup here is Kargath. Now, I know what some people are going to say in regards to the mythic-only final boss, which is not even shown here in the guide. I'll show you that. I'll get to that. But, man, this is... I don't like that they had Kargath as the first boss. That's my point. That's all I'm saying. So, Kargath. Yeah. Roar of the crowd. Yeah. I heard this was a fun fight back in the day. And yeah, let's also address the fact that, this is, again, showing the culture of the ogres and how, the whole thing with the ogres. They are all about the arena. Oh, and by the way, Grom Hellscream is right up there. Both he and Kargath were up there watching, because apparently they saw us here and they were like, let's see these heroes of the Horde or the Alliance fall here in the arena to these ogres. And then Kargath's like, okay, I'll just take care of them myself. And Grom continues to just, stand by and watch. Now, let's see if the cutscene I'm referring to is supposed to play after this. If it doesn't play, I will make a cut, an edit, and switch another character and do this on either heroic or normal and see if that works. By the way, I find it hilarious. I always see this now. Demoralized. Damage dealt is reduced by 30% and maximum health reduced by 45%. This is a thing that I guess they added when you came in here on high-level, max-level characters for if you're very over-leveled for certain raids. So, anyways.
You owe me a fight, cowards!
The roar of the crowd. So let's see if the cutscene plays here.
Finish him, and that...
It does! Nice!
100.
And that's 100. Hey, Cho'gall.
Cho'gall? You sought to imprison us, Margok?
You could never control us!
Guards, stop him! Destroy them all! Raise this city to the ground!
The stones will be ours! All shall fall to darkness!
Seal the gates!
Notice Grom has taken off.
Will never fall to the likes of you!
So yeah, if you have DBM on, it just automatically skips this cutscene. So I probably forgot to read the overview of this. Highmaul is the seat of power for the Gorian Empire, the ogre civilization that ruled Draenor for generations until the arrival of the Draenei, a massive city that belies the ogre reputation for brutish stupidity. Highmaul is full of bustling markets, wealthy nobles, and the roar of the Colosseum crowd echoing through the streets of the slums. Visible from everywhere within the city's walls, Imperator Margok's citadel casts a long shadow, a reminder of his watchful eye and iron grip. We'll be seeing him in a little bit later. Right now, he's on the run from Cho'gall. So, they have autoloot on? No. Alright, let's see. Hey, there it is. So that's the blade fist weapon that you can get from Kargath. Pretty awesome looking Mog right there. It is worth noting that you could, for those of you who remember, Kargath was actually a dungeon boss back in Burning Crusade. This is obviously a different version. Again, the time travel alternate dimension thing. So you can get a different Blade Fist from Kargath here in this raid, and that's the mythic version, which looks awesome. You can get some other Mog pieces here. Hey, the Death Knight helm dropped. Okay. Very nice. Go ahead and equip that. Collect that appearance here. There we go. Alright. So yeah, Cho'gall just was like, yep, I'm wrecking this place. And it has to do with the storyline involving him being part of Gul'dan and the Shadow Council. Again, let's ignore the fact that Cho'gall sort of, really should not be that way, but they were just kind of lazy about that, so. Heretics! Kill! Feast! Yeah, it's okay. My pet's got this. I can just clear out this whole place. Be like, yep, I'm good. My pets have this, I'm fine. I came in here a lot on my Warlock because I was trying to get the last piece I needed for the Shadow Council set that I wanted for my Warlock, because it's an awesome set. As you can see, I'm already wearing the Mythic set from Blackrock Foundry for my Hunter. I have the whole set, so. But it would be nice to be able to get the last piece I need for my Shaman. So.
You scrawny grabbers. All crunch and no meat.
I cannot believe this is a boss. But yes, this is the Butcher. No, not that Butcher. Not the Butcher from Diablo 3. No. This is just an ogre called the Butcher. But Blizzard was like, it'd be really funny. Born in the fetid underbelly of Highmaul, this ogre may have once had a proper name, but it is long forgotten. Abused and beaten from his earliest days, the hardship only strengthened his body, even as it broke his mind. Now there is not an ogre in Highmaul who will not give him a wide berth as he hacks away at slaughtered carcasses to pass his days. So yeah, he just, hacks away at you, He's the Butcher. I mean, look at the weapons he has, which you can get both of those as transmogs, by the way. In fact, we'll see if they drop. I already have both of them, but we'll see if they drop. Let's see if, of course, what his first line is.
Oh, come and get it.
Okay, so it's not fresh meat.
Time for the meat grinder.
Yeah. There's the headpiece I'm already wearing. Huh. But hey, if you ever wanted the Butcher's Cleaver as a transmog, this is the place to get it. So yeah. Quite a bit of chaos is now kind of broken out in this place. Alright, there's a couple of other, I think I'll go take care of this boss first before we head over to the other one. Yeah, we got some brutes here that are working for Cho'gall, that are kind of messing with the ogre forces that are here. And yeah, as you guys saw in that Lords of War, short, the ogres were awful. They were brutal. I mean, you saw that, right? They made Kargath kill 100 orcs, promising his freedom, and then he does so, and then they imprison him down below. Alright, this next boss. Brackenspore, the Walker of the Deep. The iron horde juggernaut moored in the waters beside Highmaul drew the attention of Brackenspore, ancient walker of the deep. The aquatic giant spreads fungal growth and moss in his wake, and is driven by primal instinct to eradicate any traces of civilization on Draenor. So yeah, we've got these things here. Burn! But it's okay, even if I'm trapped here, or whatever, with the mind fungus, doesn't matter. Because I've got my pets to just wreck everything. I used to be like, oh, am I supposed to get through there? No. No, you're not. Just ignore that doorway. That is very deceptive. Oh, pfft. Seriously, pal? Seriously?
I don't have a target.
Just randomly out of nowhere, from like, I was over there, he was over here, and somehow he was like, oh, aggro. Okay.
I need to get closer.
Alright, this next boss, this is a little rough. Because you can kind of get tossed around this place, and you can even die from this, just because of the way it works. This is Tectus. Hold on a second. An ancient embodiment of the chaotic forces that shaped the terrain of Draenor, Tectus has been twisted and enslaved by the maddened Pale Orcs, who themselves barely maintain control over this imposing force of nature. So yeah, as you guys saw, I just earlier today unlocked the flying finally, and in order to do that, you have to do all the questing in all the zones, basically. And so the part of the questing in this zone, and this makes sense why he's here, is because this is basically supposed to be the element of Earth here on Draenor. Because this raid is in Nagrand, where the Throne of the Elements is. And Tectus was basically taken and corrupted by Cho'gall, which is why he's now here. And we unfortunately have to face him, sadly.
I'm out of range.
And ignore the loud motorcycle in my neighborhood outside the window. So we take down these three. And there he is. Yeah, the living mountain. Unkillable. Applies aggression to himself and nearby fragments of Tectus every second.
All that lives to dust. Rise,
Run.
rise, mountains.
Rise, mountain, rise, mountains, rise, mountain. He's gonna say that a lot.
Understand! Must not get away!
Is this?
Master!
So you just have to keep moving. You know, if you're a hunter, just like, you know, run around. Even if you get attacked, just have your pets be on defense, and they will attack and try and kill these enemies that are attacking you. You just have to keep moving to avoid getting hit by those things that are, you know, coming out of the ground.
Right.
Because they can actually still hurt. Even at max level and decently geared, they can still hurt you. Yeah. And this place starts to clump up a lot. Like, there's a lot of the terrain area starts to, like, basically get covered up. And you just basically have to kind of outlast this sequence. There's this barrage towards you.
Darkness speaks! Avoid! Yes, Tectus. Bend to Master's will.
I need a target.
Ah!
Even the mountain falls.
I'm sorry, Tectus. Okay. Now we can make our way through this portal to continue.
It's too far away.
The Gorthanon. Yeah, recognize these guys? Yeah.
Who is that?
Ogron.
The king don't wanna see nobody. Go away.
Range. I need to get closer.
So, yeah. These guys. Twin Ogron, Pol and Phemos. Guarding the entrance to the Gorthanon atop Highmaul, Pol and Phemos are the personal guard of Imperator Margok, peerless in strength and determination. What these Ogron brothers lack in intelligence, they make up for with sheer size and brute force. Stampede!
They fight.
I need a target.
Fight them back then.
They fight! We'll fight them back then! There are some humorous bosses in this expansion that have to do with some of these races that are, you know, exclusive in Draenor. So this is the next boss already right here. You can also say that this feels like a small raid.
You dare enter enter these halls?
This is Korag, I think. I think that's how it's pronounced. Was the only ogre to survive direct exposure to a mysterious relic unearthed by the Highmaul excavations of Nagrand, and was left with a near-complete immunity to all magic. Rumors abound regarding his connection to the Imperator, with some wondering why Korag would remain subservient to a sorcerer despite his unique gifts. Yeah.
Your magic is powerless here. Broken.
Expel magic fell. Yeah, you can see the magic barrier. Yeah.
Impossible!
Okay. So yeah, a whole bunch of trash. Look at that thing! Look at the size of that Ogron Warbringer!
I don't have a target. I need a target. I'm out of range.
So yeah, imagine what it was like dealing with this much trash in this area all at once.
I can't attack that.
When it was current. Yeah. So in order to get to the last boss, we gotta go through here. Get through this guy, which is gonna open another portal. Right there. We go through. And more of the King's God. Alrighty.
I need a target.
And now it is time for the final boss, the throne of the Imperator. Imperator Margok. As the Grand Imperator of Highmaul, Margok is descended from a long line of sorcerers who have ruled the Gorian Empire. Equal parts cunning and brutality, Margok recognized the rising tide of the Iron Horde and what it would mean to oppose them. He has acquiesced to an alliance with Grommash, even as he continues to search for a way to tip the balance of power back into his favor. Because, well, if you see the Lords of War one on Grom, yeah. Let's just say, no matter what's been going on, the ogres still, how do I put this? That they see the orcs as less than them? I mean, yeah. The ogres think very highly of themselves and very less of other races. I'll put it that way.
You will learn why I am king and you are little more than peasants. You have seen but
So this can be a little bit of a long fight.
behold the ancient magics unearthed by my empire.
Because now he goes up there and he's immune.
To my side, I must focus my power and awaken the stone.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Can you two actually defend me?
It takes form to destroy you!
I'm out of range.
These two are all over the place.
Its energy overflows. Soon it will be unleashed. The boundless power of the stones flows! Enough! Long have the Sorcerer Kings guarded these chambers. Today, you will see our secret power! Guards, remove these peasants!
So yeah, you basically just kind of have to wait until he's done casting Awakened Runestone while dealing with these ads. For some reason, my pets are not entirely cooperative at the moment when it comes to actually defending me from being attacked.
Comprehension!
I don't know what's going on with these two. I tell them to defend me, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
You can never challenge my rule. I command the power of the stones, and know no equal. My power knows no limit. You know nothing of the power you meddle with, Margok.
It calls to us. We know its power will be ours.
Cho'gall, traitorous scum! I knew you were behind this! Your reign has come to an end! The infinite night begins!
Darkness comes!
I am king! We have waited long for this moment. The true power of the stones will be realized at last.
None shall survive. We shall be the unmaking. Destroy them. Wash over this world.
Gaze into the abyss!
It sees you. It knows.
The end draws closer.
This is our purpose.
Your world will be swallowed in darkness.
All will hear his call.
Yeah.
Come.
You can never escape.
And so for the second time, we killed Cho'gall. Hey! I got that sword I never got before. Yay! So, oh hey, there's the staff, which I already have. Okay. So, that sequence with Cho'gall does not happen unless you do this on Mythic. Yes, this fight with Cho'gall is Mythic only. On the other difficulties, it ends when you beat Margok. In fact, I want to show this because I really want to emphasize this. Because I looked through this, there is no hint whatsoever in the guide at all that Cho'gall is an extra phase in Mythic. There is nothing here talking about Cho'gall. Nothing. I looked through this. I could not find one single thing, one single reference to Cho'gall. So the guide does not even let you know, hey, by the way, if you do this on Mythic, you can face Cho'gall. Nope. But yeah, in Mythic, basically that means in lore, this is where we defeat Cho'gall and kill him for a second time, because remember, we killed our Cho'gall back in Bastion of Twilight in Cataclysm. Well, now after the stuff we have seen Cho'gall be a part of, involved with Gul'dan and such, in Warlords, especially here in the story quests in Ogron, this is where we take down Cho'gall, which is a big blow to the efforts of Gul'dan and the Shadow Council and what's going on. And of course, as you can probably imagine, when he's talking about he, yeah. So there's two possibilities here, considering what we know. One, because Cho'gall is hearing the whispers of the old gods, he could be referring to the old gods like N'Zoth. Which makes you wonder, are there old gods here on Draenor in an alternate dimension? Possibly. Or two, he's aware of what's going on with the Burning Legion and that they are going to be coming here towards the end of the expansion. So he could be referring to Archimonde. Yeah. So it's so the fact that Cho'gall is sort of a final boss here, but it's mythic only, sort of makes up for what I was complaining about earlier, because in my opinion, still, Kargath should have been the final boss here. However, because they put Cho'gall here at the end for mythic only, it sort of makes up for it. So, yeah, Highmaul. It's a relatively short raid, so if you want to get some really cool looking transmogs from Kargath, the Butcher, Cho'gall here instead of the Imperator if you do this on Mythic. There's plenty of really cool transmogs to get here in this raid. So I would definitely say, okay, if you want some really cool transmogs and some illusions here, like Rockbiter for your Shaman, Mark of the Shattered Hand. There's some other really cool ones. There's a bow here I haven't gotten. It would have been nice to have gotten that while here on my Hunter. Plenty of other really cool stuff that you can get here in terms of transmogs. No mounts or anything or pets, but transmogs. Like I said, you can get this stuff from the Butcher. So, though what's funny is it doesn't seem to show it. Let me go ahead and turn the filter off here just to re-emphasize this. There it is. There's the Butcher's Cleaver, and there's the Butcher's Tenderizer. Yep. Plus, there's also some stuff for the sets here. If you look at the sets that are listed under Blackrock Foundry, part of these pieces can be found in this raid, Highmaul. So that's Highmaul, and we will be heading to Blackrock Foundry. Not only the best raid in this expansion, but one of the best raids ever in the history of this game. And I'm not the only one who has said that. Some other really high-level raiders have also agreed on that Blackrock Foundry was an excellent raid. Is where we will be heading when we return. Stay tuned.